is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendes, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
All right, guys, today I'm here with Marcus Civin. Marcus, how are you today?
I'm real good.
We are here on day one of Spring Break Art Show. Do you mind sharing your Instagram so people can check out your work as they listen to the podcast episode?
Yep. It's just my name, Marcus Civin, and then writing. So Marcus Civin Writing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So congrats, Spring Break Art Show
Thank
day
you.
one. Your booth looks amazing. Just to double check, it's booth 35.
Yes.
Are you going to be here all throughout each day?
Yeah, on and off. Yeah, but
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you
Try
mind
to hit some of the other fairs too.
Yes. There's so much going on, so much to do and see. Do you mind telling us a little bit about the work you're exhibiting here?
Sure. So I write 4-word, 4-letter poems, and they always use the word only. And I think of them as love poems, although all kinds of love, not just romantic love. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And what's your creative process like? How did you come up with this? How do ideas come to you?
Well, so I would say everyone should try to make only poems. Everyone should try to make 4-word, 4-line poems. They're really fun to do. You can do them when you're shopping.
Yeah.
You can do them when you're walking down the street.
Yeah.
You can do them in, a boring something that you have to be at.
Yeah.
You can think about your only poem.
Love that.
And sometimes, I'll write them in my cell phone notes on my phone, or I carry notebooks with me, or just write them on a piece of paper. And then when I get home, then I'll make them into a painting or a drawing.
Oh, wow. And do you prefer? That was actually going to be my question. And do you prefer, do you prefer to work in the daytime? Are you a nighttime person, or just whenever inspiration strikes?
I think I like, kind of quiet time. So that could be any time of day. But I definitely like if you've worked for a while and you kind of lose track of time. You've played all the podcasts, you've listened to all the songs, and it's just. You get into that peaceful kind of place.
Yeah. And do you have any studio rituals? When you first get to the studio, you got to have read the paper or get a coffee or have to do anything? Or can you just get in, close the door and get to work?
I definitely like to organize supplies, you know, I have a toolbox for the paint, jar for this and container for that. So I like to, sort of make sure everything's set out, and I'll make my plan, I'm going to try to do this much today,
And then do you have any pets that you keep in the studio or anything? Any pets?
Oh, I don't have any pets.
I don't have any pets? No, me neither.
I wish I did.
It's a lot. It's too much upkeep. When you live in the East Coast, I think winter. I'm from Brazil originally. I cannot do walking in the snow. Sorry, but I do love pets.
Someday.
And are you able to keep a work-life balance, or are you always inspired, always think, can you kind of separate the two?
Well, I do a lot of things, and work-life balance is definitely new to me. The amazing thing is that I found it in New York.
Oh, wow.
So New York, which is this crazy place with so much going on, I actually feel the most calm here and the most balanced, and my laundry is done and hung up and folded.
Yeah.
Groceries are in the fridge, whereas at other points in my life, that was challenging.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And do you think being, as you said, you're from Boston, correct?
I was born in Boston, grew up in Baltimore, and then moved around a bunch.
Oh, okay. And do you think that background has impacted your work?
Interesting. I definitely think I've moved a lot, and so I definitely think when I'm making something, I do think about where's this gonna go?
Yeah.
And often these only poems, when I first started making them, I would send them to people.
Yeah.
So they were gifts to start with. That was a trick that another artist taught me a long time ago. It's if you're not sure about something, when you're starting, send a couple of them as gifts to people. And kind of, then you have that audience of one. And I thought that was nice.
It's a focus group almost, right?
Yeah. But also for love poems.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And how did you start? Did you start writing the poems and then transfer them to the canvas, or it was that from the beginning?
You got it. Yeah. And I wanted to put them on linen because I love the way that linen looked, and I had never, I saw other people using linen. I had never tried it before, and I really wanted to try it. And so I tried it a bunch of ways, a bunch of tests and stuff like that. And the letters are really specific. So I've made text-based work for years in lots of different forms, and I looked back. I in moving a lot, when you're moving and
Yeah,
you look through all
yeah.
your boxes, you're like,
Yeah,
what is this?
yeah.
Why am I taking this with me?
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes like I see a drawing I made or something and I'm like this corner is good.
Yeah.
And I will still just cut out the corner,
Oh, okay.
and put it back in the box and
Yeah.
recycle the rest of it or use the paper for something
Yeah.
else, So I had this kind of amazing archive of all these letter forms that I'd used before.
Wow.
And so I made a kind of Marcus alphabet from all of those letters that I had used in other works. And then I called up a graphic designer friend and I said, can you help me like clean this up a little bit, like sort of make them more uniform?
Yeah.
And she did that for me. And then I just went to Canal Plastics right over here.
Okay.
And they made it into a stencil for me. So I have sort of a 2 sizes that I use.
Oh, wow. That was actually going to be my question. Are you based in New York right now?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn.
Yeah. And are you does the city inspire you? Do you get any inspiration from being in New York and Brooklyn?
I mean, after I'd been here, I came in at the tail end of the pandemic. And after I'd been here for like a little while, I looked at my friend and I said, I'm not going to be able to see all the shows. And I'm really disappointed because there's so many and I love it.
Oh my God,
this morning when we were coming over here, I said to Matthew, I was like, we could hit a couple galleries on the way in,
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean, because sometimes I'll plan with my friends hey, let's go to the Met and then we do this, and then we end up 6 hours at the Met and then the whole day is gone,
Right.
Do you ever find yourself going back to old pieces of work and then reusing it or getting ideas and referencing yourself?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I remember when I lived in San Francisco, for example, I had these big windows sort of like these here in the space. And I used to, I was writing Lou Reed lyrics out on paper and then I was taping them to the windows so that you could see the light coming through, and it was sort of a lined notebook paper. And one of the things I did before I went to grad school, I was transcribing books. Mm-hmm. So I rewrote an English translation of War and Peace and Notes from the Underground, Crime and Punishment, and so, those works were formative to me, both in terms of understanding how someone constructs a work, overall, but also in terms of thinking about that relationship between, what does it mean to have text on the page, right?
Yeah. And were you always interested in poetry since you were young, a little kid, or over time you got maybe subconsciously you started diving into poems and writing your own?
I was definitely that kid who was up in my room writing stories about changing the names, but it was about me and my friends.
Oh, nice. So looking back at your earlier work, is it very different to what it is now, or do you find certain pieces that has evolved into the current work that you have? I
mean, my friends say, "Oh, this is so Marcus about everything I do," but to me, it always feels "Oh my God, this is totally new and different."
Yeah. And do you ever get stuck when you're in the studio? Do you go in, you do your normal ritual, get to work, but then you find yourself stuck? Are you the artist that will try to push yourself until something gets completed and done, or do you are you able to step away, take some time off, go walk for the rest of the day, have a coffee?
I love my walks. I can't have coffee anymore.
Yeah.
But I love my walks. Deadlines help me a lot.
Yeah, okay.
If I don't have a deadline, sometimes I can get a little lost in the research or kind of go too far on something. But so this was helpful, talking to Ross and Matt, and they're let's try to have this many of them, and I was beautiful, okay.
And how many work do you have you're exhibiting here again?
There are about 20 in there.
20? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And are they all from 1 year or sporadically?
They're all from the last couple of years.
Oh, nice. Nice. And this is your first spring break, right? Art show?
Yeah, I've been before.
Oh,
but this is the first time.
This is your first time exhibiting, or?
First time exhibiting.
First time exhibiting? Oh, that's so cool. And we're only day one, so I hope lots of good news and good sales for both of you guys.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Marcus, for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure. If you could just pretty please give your Instagram account to everybody listening, because a lot of people have written in that they like to listen to the artist and then look at their work as they're speaking. If you could just please say your Instagram one more time for us.
Marcus Civin Writing.
Perfect.
MARCUSCIVIN Writing.
Perfect. So this will get published immediately, and those listening, Booth 35, please talk to to Matthew and Marcus. And a quick question: Are you an artist that you like to see people interact with your work, or do you like to like have them talk to you, or have like create a dialogue, or do you kind of just like to watch them from afar?
I'll talk to people.
Yeah.
I like people.
Do you like to see like how they interpret the work and like what they envision and hear like a different perspective?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Very cool. So everybody, please, Booth 35 Spring Break Art Show. It's only day one. Up two amazing guests, Marcus and Matthew.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.